Core Set 2020 previews are in full swing and there are so many that we have to split them up. Today there will be 2 videos. This is the first. Modern Goblins are about to be a thing, expensive as heck reprints coming to standard, insane commanders, and more. I do hope you enjoy our 2020 preview videos, and if you do, remember to hit that like button, helps out a lot. Ajani, Strength of the Pride, is 2 of anything and 2 white for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker. You can +1 and you gain life equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of planeswalkers you control. You can -2 and literally create an Ajani's Pride mate. Yep. Then you can 0, and if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, exile Ajani and each artifact and creature your opponents control. What? Seriously? Okay, well we clearly have a life gain theme going on in this set, my goodness. The ultimate is a 0, which is awesome. The +1 buffs all the Pride mates from the -2 and enables the 0 ultimate. What an excellent design, and he starts at a decently high loyalty. Now, if we're going to run this in standard and stop people from killing us straight away, we're going back to the roots of the white life gain deck you see randomly pop up on Arena. Healer's Hawk, Pride Mate, Ajani's Welcome, Resplendent Angel, Dawn of Hope, Fountain of Renewal, Leonin War Leader, add black to the deck for Vraska's Contempt, some more removal, Kaya's Wrath if you need it, Mortify. Wow, I actually think we just created most of a deck here. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to build. It's very cool. Angelic Cleric is 2 white mana for a 1/4 human cleric. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. Whenever an angel you control dies, create a 1/1 white spirit token with flying. Okay, so we're going to add this to the Ajani life gain deck, except now in addition to playing Resplendent Angel, we're playing Seraph of the Scales as well, and probably Lyra. Angel life gain tribal, I like where this is going. Angelic Cleric is a sweet card designed for this angel life gain deck, but in a format like Commander, it'll be great as well. Replacing Lost Angels in any angel tribal deck, as well as getting a bunch of life along the way. Simple color identity, easy to cast in angel decks, it's a neat card. Rough translation, Life Singer locks it on as 6 mana for a 4/6 elephant cleric. When it enters the battlefield, you may have your life total become equal to the total toughness among creatures you control. You can also pay 6 mana and the Lockstone gets +X until end of turn, where X is your life total? Sure, I mean, I guess this entire set's just about life gain now, apparently. The Loxodon's a big boy, a real big boy. 6 mana for a 4/6 with a life improvement or reset is Beefcake Heaven, but then that expensive pump ability, this doesn't come with trample, but thank goodness it doesn't. For 6 mana, you can turn this into a 24/26 if you're a 20 life. It is expensive, but it's strong. I can't imagine having to fight something like this in limited when you don't have hard removal. That's a big yikes. Now looking at Commander, think about Arcades or Doran or even Opaleye. These commanders will go crazy for a card like this. Think about it. Even in a format where your life total starts at 40, resetting it to something higher isn't even that difficult in a huge wall deck. Sweet inclusion for those strategies. It's very nice. Leyline of Sanctity is getting a reprint, heck yes! Modern Staples getting reprinted in standard legal sets. This is basically the dream. Leyline of Sanctity, even after being reprinted back in 2015, is over $20 each again. So with this reprint and some sweet new artwork, the card should come down in price a lot. Because it is played, it'll never be worthless, but it should finally be affordable for those wishing to have it in their modern sideboards on a budget. Octo Prophet, love the name, is 4 mana for a 3/3 octopus. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. So we're looking at a buff Omen Speaker, but here's my problem. Decks that run these cards don't usually care about the stats, they just want the cheap scry. So while a 3/3 for 4 with scry is nice, I'm not going to first pick it or anything. It isn't going to be an early game blocker in a blue control deck in standard because it's too slow. What it does have going for it, it's an octopus. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a coveted creature type. Shout out to my boy Crafty Octopus. Anyways, it's a filler limited card. Blight Beetle is 2 mana for a 1/1 insect with protection from green. Creatures your opponents control can't have +1/+1 counters put on them. Eat that, Growth Chamber Guardian, just eat it, woo! Blight Beetle was created to do one simple thing, stop Simic from existing. A little beetle like this turning off an entire mechanic and granting unlimited blocks against all green nonsense? Do I think this is a bit on the nose? Maybe. But what are hate cards for if not turning off entire mechanics? Blight Beetle feels like a card from decades ago designed with no subtlety at all in order to stop a specific strategy or mechanic. Well, Blight Beetle, congrats, the Simic never stood a chance. Holy crap on a cracker, Leyline of the Void is back too. This card is $50. It's legit $50 right now. Bringing this back is gigantic for Modern. I'm so happy right now. Talk about infusing Core Set 2020 with guaranteed value. Now, of course, this won't hold its price, but Leyline of the Void is more popular than ever with the dominance of graveyard-based decks in the Modern meta. I could not be happier right now. I legit couldn't. This is what we keep asking for, and Wizards delivered. Absolutely phenomenal include. And now if you want to mess with Phoenix players in Standard or Command the Dread Horde players, here you go. Enjoy the carnage. It's so unreal. Thought Distortion is 4 of anything and 2 black for a sorcery that can't be countered. Target opponent reveals their hand. Exile all non-creature, non-land cards from that player's hand and graveyard. Sure, why not? Talk about a sideboard card against other standard control decks, my goodness, I'm loving it. It is incredibly expensive at a whopping 6 mana for a sorcery, but against a control deck, it nukes the hand. Plus, by the time you're at 6 mana, control decks are really going to be the only strategies with enough cards in their hands to be worth casting this against. Now you cast it, can't be countered, and you take everything important from the player's hand, but most important of all, it's exiled. All of it's exiled, which means Nexus of Fate gets exiled, and that makes me way too happy. It's a solid anti-Command the Dreadhorde card, totally savage anti-control and combo attack, and if you're running black and standard and you hate control, you should look no further. My goodness, what a beating. Uncounterable in black too. Man, I love Magic these days. Leyline of Combustion is 2 of anything and 2 red for an enchantment. If Leyline of Combustion is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Whenever you and/or at least one permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Leyline of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player. Whoa, I can't be the only one who thinks this card is bonkers, right? If a mono red player wants to sideboard this in against a spot-heavy removal deck, what do they even do? This makes my moment of craving so much worse. Leyline of Combustion is straight up brutal, feels like Cinder Vines all over again, but less aggressive, but still really aggressive. I do expect to see this card in standard and mono red sideboards, at least 1 copy, maybe 2. I could be wrong, but don't underestimate neutralizing opponent's life gain and taxing them for disruption and removal. Oof. Goblin Ringleader's back in standard. Okay, Wizards, we get it. You want goblins to be in modern. We get it. Goblin Ringleader is an absurd card, solving one of Red's most basic issues, card economy. In a pure goblin deck, the Ringleader serves a specific purpose, pushing through for the win. This card is so good, I really can't oversell it. This is like when Pile Driver was printed again. The more legacy playable goblins we get in standard, the more powerful the modern goblin deck becomes. I'm telling you, this is playing with fire. Y'all are playing with fire. You can't trust goblins with fire. I mean, just look at how they deal with wands. They have no idea what's going on. Just color me terrified. Ravenous Hydra is X and double green for a 0/1 Hydra with trample. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it, or it fights target creature you don't control. I like this kind of versatility on a Hydra right as it enters the battlefield. Putting a lot of mana into a Hydra is always a risk, but being able to take something down or getting the Hydra out of burn range quickly are both huge pluses for me. Since doubling counters is a possibility, look at it this way. You can spend 6 mana on this total, it enters the battlefield as a 4/5, but then you double the counters 8/9, 6 mana. That isn't a bad return at all if you ask me. It's a cool Hydra. Gonna be an absolute bomb in limited, solid inclusion in Roshin Meander and Ulash, and great with Unbound Flourishing. I just love me some Hydras. Veil of Summer is 1 green mana for an instant. Draw a card if an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and from black this turn. Okay, have we been teleported to the most hateful set ever? This isn't the first color hate card we've seen from this set, but this is definitely the most aggressive. It's like taking Autumn's Veil and pumping it full of steroids. Veil of Summer is now an instant sideboard card for standard easily, with Esper Control running around all over the place. Green decks have a way to stop it, or at least part of it. Drawing a card is amazing upside for this, since you'll be doing it most of the time, and the rest of the text covers you from most anything your opponent could do to you. Essentially a 1 green mana counterspell that cantrips. Being a green player must be interesting right now. Empyrean Eagle is 1 of anything, 1 white and 1 blue for a 2/3 bird spirit with flying. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. Hello there, flying tribal in standard and bird tribal in commander. Supreme Phantom is still in standard, same with favorable winds, same with a ton of afterlife cards. Creating a standard playable flying token deck might not be too far off. Regardless, it's nice to see Kangi get some love in commander. That deck needs an influx of help, let me tell you that right now. Eagle's a great start, hope to see more birds for days. Ironroot Warlord is 1 of anything, 1 green and 1 white for a 5 toughness treefolk soldier. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control. You can pay 5 mana and create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. What an absolute bomb uncommon for limited. It's only 3 mana, which is crazy though for something with 5 toughness, power equal to the number of creatures you control, and an ability to create creatures to up that power without needing to tap. Limited powerhouse for sure, no question about it. 3 mana seems really low for this. Clearly pushed for inclusion in go-wide strategies, this is close to teetering on constructed playability. I don't think it's format breaking or anything, but they pushed it just as far as they could without it falling right into standard playability. Keycar Wind's Fury is one of anything 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 white for a 3/3 legendary creature bird wizard with flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. You can also sacrifice a spirit to add 1 red mana. Say hello to Jeskai Storming Commander. Great, wonderful. A never-ending stream of spirits that can be sacrificed in order to add even more mana to your mana pool in one of the colors that love Storm the most, red. Add in nonsense like Anointed Procession, and the mana's never-ending. Think about it this way. Keycar lets you run everything you want from Talrand, Mizzix, and Argent all put together, but then with the additional support of Wrath of God, Path to Exile, Ghostly Prison, Blind Obedience, Teferi's Protection, and more. If you've ever wanted a more resilient Storm deck that doesn't win in the conventional sense, look no further. You can run Saheeli, Sublime Artificer for a bunch of tokens, Chief Engineer, Perforos, the Locust God. Okay, I'm getting too excited, but you get my point. Keycar is genius design at work. Risen Reef is one of anything 1 green and 1 blue for a 1/1 elemental. Whenever the Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put that card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. Risen Reef is another excellent addition to the elemental archetype. What a cool card. Now, don't get me wrong, I hate that it's a 1/1, but there's good reason for it. That enter the battlefield trigger is seriously powerful in the right deck. You're looking at Coiling Oracle, except the trigger is repeatable on elemental entry to the battlefield. And as we've already seen from yesterday's previews, elementals are going to be here. They're going to be everywhere. I expect to see this immediately slot into every on-color elemental deck and commander without fail. For a card like this to penetrate standard, elementals would have to be a high-tier strategy with some powerful payoffs for a ramp like this. I'm deathly curious to see what comes next, but Risen Reef has a load of power built into it. Big fan. This is just the first of 2 videos today, but I gotta know what you're thinking already. Are you as psyched as I am about the modern reprints in the set? Those Leylines, did not expect it. What about the new Jeskai Storm Commander or Goblin Ringleader in modern for that matter? The set seems to be doing a lot for Eternal play. I gotta love it. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below and we'll talk about it, and anything not covered in this video will be covered in the next one. So pumped for this set. So please be sure to stay tuned for the latest and most reliable core set 2020 spoiler information you could ever need. And as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Core set 2020 booster boxes are ready to pre-order right the second on TCG Player for $99 each. If you're already feeling the set like I am and you want to get your pre-orders in and don't have a local game store, you can help the channel out right now by clicking the link on the screen. It's a win-win for everyone. You get boxes delivered right to your door on release. Everyone's happy. It's a great time. There's rainbows and unicorns and cupcakes and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. Enjoy.